In our last episode of the 3D printed YouTube studio, we showed you how to make an inexpensive camera equipment stand. In this video, we're going to show you the first of our accessories for that stand and how you can use your stand to do something you just can't do with a regular tripod, so stick around. Printable Science presents a 3D printed camera pipe clamp in our ongoing series of the 3D printed YouTube studio. Up until now, we've been using a simple little iPhone camera stand we made in the second episode of this series. There's a link to that project right here. Unfortunately, it had to be placed on a stool on top of a stand, and let's face it, it just wasn't that portable. What's more, if you wanted to tilt your iPhone forward, you'd have to wedge something underneath it. For more professional results, you need a camera stand that has 3 axes of movement, like a tripod head, so you can adjust the pitch and the yaw and the roll. Plus, you want to be able to adjust the height of your camera as well. Now that we've got a bona fide equipment stand, and there's a link to that project right up there, we've modeled up a camera stand that provides full 3-axis movement. So once you've mounted your camera or iPhone on your stand, you can point it wherever you like. You can also adjust the height just by clamping your phone anywhere you want along the pipe. After it's all printed and some parts glued together, you're left with 3 basic parts. There's the piece that slips onto the pipe with the set screw so you can lock it in place. You can use this clamp to adjust not only the height of your camera, but the yaw as well. Onto that piece you insert the sleeve of the second part. In the normal configuration, you use this piece to control the roll position of your camera. Finally, there's a piece with a built-in camera bolt for attaching to your camera or iPhone stand. Well, it's only built in after you assemble everything in place, but after that, it is built in. You can attach your camera or your iPhone at this point on the stand. You simply have to use the large knob, and you can use that to secure your iPhone or camera in place. Our original iPhone holder will work fine for this, as it already has a built-in tripod screw. There's a link to that project right here. The camera attachment bolt is actually more complicated than it looks, and we made a video that describes exactly what's involved. There's a link to that video up here. You can use the files in the project to install proper camera bolting in any of your own projects, as we have in this one today. Once your camera or iPhone holder is attached, just slide the piece onto the stand mechanism. We use the set screw in this last piece to control the pitch of our camera's view. We printed our clamp in PLA for a 0.4mm nozzle, a 0.2mm layer height, 3 bottom layers, 3 top layers, and for everything else but the bolts, we used a 20% infill. For strength, we printed our bolts with a 75% infill, but you probably want to use metal bolts for the added security. You don't really want to expose your iPhone or camera to the risk of it breaking off the stand and falling simply because you decided to become a purist about 3D printing and said, nothing but plastic printed parts for me. That's not a problem. Our design incorporates a standard 1/4 inch diameter thread. Once you've printed off the parts for your clamp, assembly is easy peasy, just a bit of gluing. We use epoxy, and if you haven't checked it out, you should see our video on how to print an epoxy workstation. The link to that project is right here. You'll find our epoxy workstation is a great addition to your 3D printer workshop. You begin by gluing together the camera mount bolt and start by gluing the bolt cover over the bolt head. As we mentioned in our camera mount bolt tutorial, we want to avoid using a 3D printed bolt for attaching your camera or iPhone, and for safety's sake, go with the standard 3/4 inch long, 1/4 inch diameter steel bolt. Once that's done, insert the bolt in the mount and then thread on the collar. And once you've got it started, use the custom spanner you printed off to tighten it down. Then get the large thumb screw cover and epoxy that over the bolt head, and you're finished with the camera mount bolt. After that, all you have to do is to take the short cylinders and glue them into the sockets and give everything a bit of time to harden. So there you have it. We can now retire the stool and cabinet we were using, and we have a lot more flexibility in setting up our camera shot. But that's not all. At the beginning of the video, I told you that we can use this studio to do something very keen that you just can't do with a regular tripod, and it's this. You can put 2 or 3 or as many cameras as you like on the same stand. You can hang a microphone boom on it. If you have a second camera, and particularly if you'd like to do a wide shot with your iPhone and maybe a close-up view with a cheap camcorder, then it's a snap. We just slip another of our pipe camera clamps onto the pipe, position it where we want it, and zoom in so we get the close-up we want with the wide shot we're enjoying. That will go a long way to making your home studio a lot less cluttered and more compact. Not only are we using our studio stand that takes a lot less floor space, but we don't even need a second tripod or studio stand to shoot videos with more than one camera. In our next video in this series, we're finally going to do something about the lousy lighting. It's long overdue, so don't be a stranger. Thanks for watching, and won't you help by becoming an important part of the Printable Science family and making this channel more valuable and successful? You can help us out by taking the time to watch this video in its entirety, and other Printable Science videos as well, perhaps while your 3D printer is printing off this project. You can leave comments and questions below. That will help us to create useful videos and 3D STL files that are printer ready and help you to maximize the power and utility of your 3D printer. Your feedback is very important. If you've enjoyed this video, please click the thumbs up button, and if you have just a moment, won't you show your support by clicking the subscribe button below. If you want to make sure you don't miss our upcoming videos on 3D printing, you'll want to click on the notify bell as well, and please consider supporting Printable Science on Patreon using the link supplied below. You can become one of our Patreon supporters for as little as $1 a month, and it'll provide you with lots of extras and additional information, as well as going a long way to defray the cost of making these files and videos. Down below, you'll also find a link where you can download a copy of the STL files from Thingiverse so that you can make your own studio stand camera pipe clamp. As always, you can download a copy of the STL files for this and other projects directly from our website. The latest files and a discussion board on our studio stand camera pipe clamp and the 3D printed YouTube studio are available at the at the printablescience.com website, where all the science that fits we print.